Choo. Goopa Loopa. Gunda. Yup, yup. Lana Tutu. Goba Fringowa. Goopa Loopa. Koto Ostoga.
Why, hello everybody, it's Wes, Hank, and Andy. Welcome back to this lovely Sunday evening for another installment of our little review series called Tales from the Moon of Fandor. It's the show where we're going back in time, in the big time machine. We're looking at the Ewoks animated series, 39 years young, in 2024. So far, it's been a pretty interesting ride, revisiting the show as an adult, reminding me what it's like to be a kid, and questioning whether or not I could have watched this when I was 9. Because, man, there's some scary stuff in this.
There is. Again, every episode, something new on Endor that's going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's no different this week.
No. They
Some interesting
expand on it.
There's some interesting things that come up in the course of this episode, talking about like a bit of the lore and things that are potentially dangerous. And I have some questions about that when we get to it.
Okay.
Excuse me, when we get to it. However, before we get to it, we should probably oh dear.
Have another one of those
I should change the board.
traditional
There we go.
thingies.
That's what they're one of these.
Bad Star Wars jokes.
I got one.
Oh,
Hey guys, how do Ewoks catch fish?
Well, if you go by the last episode, they don't. No, that was 2 episodes ago. 2 episodes.
Fish catch them.
Yeah, especially poor Whittle.
Or poor Whittle. How about poor Deej? The guy was just trying to land a fish and ends up nearly dying.
True.
They catch fish with their bare hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their little murder bear hands.
Nice.
Sarah's here. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Hope everything is well tonight. Enjoying this lovely time of year.
Mm-hmm.
A bear joke with a Star Wars skin on it.
I feel like, and that's the thing. Like when you go searching for Ewok jokes, it's pretty thin.
It's very thin.
It's pretty thin. But I mean, you know, swap bear for Ewok and
Perfect.
Most of the time it works.
mostly.
Unless you get one of the specific bears.
But that's
true.
Bear jokes are very koala and panda heavy.
Yeah.
When you Google bear jokes.
This week's episode, The Tree of Light, before we get into the breakdown, I like to always ask you guys some sort of initial thoughts about the episode. What'd you guys think going into it?
We got that continuing trend of disobeying the chief. It seems to get them in more trouble going through than anything else.
I noticed that I don't think that they're as linear as I thought they were before.
No, I agree with you on that.
I think they crossed the bridge that the Jindas crossed and that they crossed early.
I wondered if it was the same bridge as well.
But it looks like it's the first time any of them crossed it in this episode.
Like the handrails are back.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's in good repair.
It's in pretty good repair.
Well, none of the boards break off, so
No, that's true. That's true.
even with Whittle dashing out on it.
Oh, by the way, here, hold the lantern. Next one. No, you here, hold the lantern.
Yeah. But again, Willie.
Well, just leave him at the end too, right? Like,
Yeah. Willie, hold the lantern.
I think for me, the thing that stood out the most on this episode was that, did you guys feel like we got a bit of a characterization shift with King Gornish?
Little bit more into the territory of a beaster.
Like up until now, I've sort of thought of him as being mostly like a trickster.
Right.
Like he's never really tried to hurt. Like there was no plan to hurt anybody. Like when they captured Latara, it was like, we just need a babysitter.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and it's always been like, they wanted to kick the Ewoks out of the village, but like, let's go play some pranks on them nobody really got hurt per se. But in this episode, we get this. Maybe it's the maniacal laughter and the framing of, but like he's downright evil in this episode.
Well, he's he's the biggest fan of the night.
As he said, yeah.
I'm the biggest fan.
Well, he's going to rule the planet, or the night spirit will rule the planet along with his biggest fan, me.
Right.
Yeah.
So
interesting if that sort of fits along the plot of wanting to, punt the Ewoks out of the village.
Yeah,
I'm sure it would go a long way towards that.
Maybe you get an ace in the back pocket against Morag, right?
Just nicer digs too. I mean, you when they live in a swamp.
All right, let's switch things up here a little bit.
They didn't learn anything from the Jindas. They could just travel.
Right.
Oh, that's true. That's true. This one is Ewoks season 1, episode 6, The Tree of Light. This one, like the last handful, have been written by Bob Carrao, directed by Raymond Jeffelies. By the way, it's the same writer-director combo. Right?
Yeah. It's kind of like maybe Dini pitched the show. That's why the first couple were his.
Paul Dini's got more writing credits in season 2.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
We get our standard broadcast runtime of 22 minutes. And our original broadcast date, Saturday, October 12th, my birthday.
Oh, nice.
My birthday, 1985, is specifically my 11th birthday.
Wow.
Episode synopsis. Wicket's brothers set off to restore the Tree of Light and are joined by uninvited guests.
Well, it's not just his brothers. I mean, what's his face goes too.
Oh, Paplu. And
his older brother.
And Oscar.
Oscar. Oh, Tebow. Get some more of that this episode too.
Yes, you do.
All right, here we go. In this episode, we start with quite a storm. Now we've had rain before. We had rain back in the first episode after the drought, but we didn't have a big storm like this. Like, as you can see, we've got a mother dragging her walkling who's kind of floating on the wind.
I love the laugh, though.
The
kids are just
loving
thinking this is hilarious.
Right.
They're like fighting to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. We get this storm, and then we get sort of Logray and Sherpa talking about the ramifications of the storm. And it seems to me like they're taking this as an omen of some sort.
Yeah.
Specifically that the Tree of Light apparently is growing weaker, which is an interesting thought.
But they're not the only ones. Like, we'll find out later that this is not just an omen for them.
No, that's an interesting counterpoint too.
It's like a Endor wide omen.
Yeah, very much so. Now they've got a task for the young Ewoks, which consists of Weechi, Whittle, Paplu, and Tebow. And hey, in case you were wondering, we've got a little confirmation here. That makes Tebow older than Wicket.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because I kind of pegged them for.
Or makes Wicket a girl.
That's true. That's true. No
girls allowed.
Yeah. What an interesting concept, too. 1985. Got to prove that girls are just as capable as the boys.
Which kicks my this is a girls' show into the proverbial nuts, I guess.
But why not, though? I mean, there is a thing with the girls at the end proving, and then they're recognized for that.
No, I guess that's true. I guess it could be still thematic, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Nisa, she walks right up to her dad and says, why can't I go? And he's like, it's only performed by the men. And she's like, well, can't you change it? And he's like, no.
But even Logray admires her spirit, so.
That's right. And he makes a point to mention that to him, and Sherpa just kind of like ignores it.
Yeah.
I'm off camera. Sorry.
What's interesting in this about this storm and the idea that the Tree of Light is growing weak, Logray talks about this like it's a regular occurrence.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like yearly or decadely, but.
Well, we don't know how old they live, so we're seeing a lot of these big cyclical sort of events.
this
You know.
sort of falls in the same thing about like how old is Morag?
Yeah,
How
and
long
it,
has she been around?
and if she's been battling Logray for centuries, perhaps, you
Right,
know, like
right.
it's like, how big are these cycles?
I mean, Ewoks being based on the concept of Wookiees doesn't make it out of the question that they could be
No.
hundreds of years old,
Right. Still, yeah, exactly.
as a Wookiee has a lifespan of hundreds.
Mhm.
Well, Logray does his medicine man thing again, and not only is it a one shot, it's a double shot this week of two mysterious magical things.
Mhm.
We get light dust. No
Tree dust.
nondescript,
Ewok tree dust.
nondescript magical dust that is ambiguously defined as a substance that the Ewoks believe will rejuvenate the Tree of Light. And as they've just insinuated that this has happened before, this
Got
is
it
just
on stock.
this is Tuesday.
Mhm.
Right.
With the Ewoks being shorter than Wookiees, would their lifespan be a little shorter?
Perhaps.
Oh,
Nice.
well done. Well done. I appreciate that. Logray hands off a magic lantern, which he says will guide them to the tree and will help keep them safe from dangers, both real and imagined. And the lamp is nothing more than a nub of a candle inside a makeshift lantern housing.
Yeah,
And it's already burning, by the way, in the middle of the day.
it is.
Right.
But I know we went to Baba Yaga last week.
Yep.
Another tale told by Vincent Price is the magic candle that will lead you to treasure. The flame will
Interesting.
actually point towards where you need to go and get brighter as you get closer. So
that seems
magic
like a-
candles are not out of the realm of possibility.
That seems like a pretty good dip, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
All right, we're going to get to the big lore piece for this week. We held off on it last week or the week before.
Yeah.
I don't feel we can really hold off on it in this
No.
episode. We got to talk about the Night Spirit.
Yep.
The Night Spirit. Now, the Night Spirit is essentially, as they're intimating here, an evil deity, both feared by the Ewoks and worshipped at the same time by the Duloks. Now, in Star Wars Legends, the Ewoks believe that the Night Spirit came to Endor in a meteorite. They also believe that the Night Spirit wanted the Sun Star. Now, we haven't really talked about that yet, but
No.
it is a powerful artifact, possibly a Force talisman of sorts, that is paired with where is it here? The Shadow Stone. Now, we've seen the Shadow Stone already. That's the stone in the end of Morag's staff.
Right.
What the Ewoks or what's happened to the other half of the stone, we won't find out for another couple of episodes yet. Now, they believe that it wanted the Sun Star, possibly in order to raise the spirits of deceased evil beings.
Ooh.
Sometimes the Night Spirit would appear in a ghost-like form. Just to be clear, the image that we're looking at here is not of. It's. I don't know if this is supposed to be a representation. But this is from a future episode where we're gonna see later on, and this it's described as the wizard, but certainly a servant of the Night Spirit. Now, again, of all of the things that we have seen,
the rarest comic book on earth.
yeah, of all the weirdness and wackiness that we've watched in this show, and I always kind of like it makes me at what they choose to canonize, and the Night Spirit is one of those
Wicked.
items. Yeah, Night Spirit canonized in the 2023 Dark Horse one-shot Hyperspace Stories Annual Jackson from 2023, where a group of Duloks can be seen dancing around an effigy of the Night Spirit. I tried my butt off to get that image, and this is the best I could come up with.
If any of you out there have read it, you're better than we are, because
because apparently this was an exclusive. Now it's still available in print.
25 bones though.
Yeah, it's an expensive one. Too much for my taste.
Big time.
For the purpose,
I was super surprised. Like I said in the chat, what an obscure comic not to digitize.
Exactly.
When everything's getting digitized.
Everything is digitized.
I thought for sure.
Rare when I find a comic I can't find it.
I just wrote it off at I should just be able to do a fairly simple search and come up with what I need, and And
Yeah, I was
an
even
hour
hoping
in.
for something internal in the like just preview images that might have thrown down
Well,
an image.
Well, yeah, but nothing.
Nothing.
So there you go. The Night Spirit. That's our big lore piece this week. Unfortunately, that's just about it for the lore.
So do we think like Night Spirit, Night Sisters, Night like that, like not connected literally like that, but
I don't know.
An artifact that possibly raises the dead? It's like we're in the same
We're
wheelhouse if
definitely
we're
we
not on the
definitely
same
are
ship, right?
there. I mean, if we want to talk about like Star Wars concepts that we're all a little more familiar with, I think of the Night Spirit and I automatically go Sith Spectre.
Dark side of the Force.
Sure.
But then, Sith Spectres are generally locked to a physical place. So that'll be interesting to see when we get to that episode, the Sunstar episode, if that's the case.
Well, if they attached him to a meteorite and shot him out into space, he would be attached to wherever he lands, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Like just like Momin's attached to the mask in the Vader comics. So
yeah.
Could be attached to the artifact itself.
I never considered that, but that certainly makes sense. What do we got next here? We've got here we go. This vial contains the sacred dust that will renew the tree's power, and we just accept that because that's the way it's always been.
Miracle grow.
And once again, we leave it to the children.
That's right. And then our magic lantern that will lead you to the tree and help keep you safe. The lantern being just a nub of a candle, it's already lit in the middle of the day at the beginning of the journey, which is interesting because Logray says that the journey, one of them, Paplu, Ouija, one of them says it's going to be a full day to get to the Tree of Light, and there's no way that candle would last a full day.
Magic candle.
That's what I mean. It's got to be magic
candle. And if it's worn down this far, like, is it been used multiple times for this journey?
I don't know. That's
maybe it's an LED.
Like much of Logray's magic in the course of the series, there's no other explanation for this, making Logray the Doug Henning of Star Wars.
Nice.
Magic. Meanwhile, wait. Oh yes, over at the we get the kids who are pretty upset about this whole thing because Wicket obviously wants to go, and Deej actually gives him some words of encouragement. Don't worry, Wicket, you'll be old enough next time.
Yeah. So there's going to be a next time.
There's going to be, yeah. Meanwhile, you've got Latara and Nisa. Nisa more so than Latara, who's like, why can't I go?
Yeah.
And as you said, Andy Chirpa says because it's traditionally done by young men.
And
Latara, bye, Debo. Meanwhile, over in the Duloc Swamp, we've got Gornish hanging out the window. He's loving the weather, by the way. The shaman is there. We haven't seen the shaman for a couple of episodes, so it's interesting to see him back, who also takes it like an omen.
We're finally getting another chance to rip down that terrible tree.
Yeah, that's right. Gornish says that they'll have another chance to knock it down, and this time it won't be bungled by an incompetent, insinuating that the shaman have mucked this up once before.
And that's maybe too powerful to chop down on a regular. It has to be in this weakened state for this to be their opportunity, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And funny, they know how to get there, whereas the Ewoks have to use the candle.
That's true. That's true that Gornish kind of...
He's got the intel.
He circumvents all of the other stuff, the weirdness of the episode. He says to the shaman, all you got to do is follow those Ewok pups and make sure they're delayed.
Yeah.
So again, that's a whole other thing where I sat there and I thought about it for a second. I'm like, there's no possible way that he could know that, that they're on their way, but he would know that as a regular occurrence, that somebody from the tribe is going to address this.
Right.
And that they're going to be young.
Yeah.
The boys walk down on an unnaturally dark forest trail with several pairs of eyes watching them. Ouija questions, or one of the boys questions, if this is one of the real dangers or if this is one of the imagined ones. It's funny how the chattering in their voice is this one of the real dangers?
They're not scared at all,
which I kind of thought was cute. But they're doing a good job at feigning like I'm fine.
I should have got you to get a shot of it. It only appears for like half a second But there is
A
a
little dragon thing.
yeah,
Oh,
it's got
yeah.
like the head of Dino, some wings, but it's a rattlesnake.
It does
Nice.
look like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
Nice.
I omitted it because there was no lore
No
piece to connect
naming
it.
or
Yeah.
reference.
Which again, I think if I were to pick sort of one of the weak areas of the show, and it's only because, you know, as an adult reviewing this stuff, I want to know about everything. I you know, where's my action figure? You know,
Mhm.
Mhm.
it's not. It's okay for it to just be a monster flying by, and it's enough for us to know that it's just one of the things that could scare them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There is a purple-looking dino-headed
Rattlesnake.
flying
A flying
rattlesnake.
rattlesnake. Something else to
I would do a Black Series Duloc. That would be dope.
To
would
be
be cool.
honest, with all of this stuff going on with the Ewoks coming back to comic books, I'm totally down to see a more meaty, realistic looking Duloc. I think that would be quite fun, actually.
Mhm.
Well, Whittle / Willie stops to take a rest, and he's quite startled by the sound of running feet. Thump, 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 thump.
Well, you get your comedy beat. I couldn't walk another step. And then the ear just perks right up.
Oh yeah, it like grows like twice as big boom, 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 as he's listening down the trail. Scared by a shadow that he interprets as a monster, he runs past the boys. Monster, and of course they all echo that monster, and they take off.
Orange
Clearly.
werewolves. Run.
Clearly from our shadow, and even I don't even know if you needed to get to the shadow. As soon as you saw the little feet running by, you're like, okay, that's Wicket.
Yeah.
There's really no secret here.
Yeah.
I don't think so anyway. We get to our next stop here at a rope bridge. And this is again like the whole linear aspect of the show. Is this the same bridge? Sorry about the flicker there. Did the events of this episode take place before the Jinda's episode?
It might just be as simple as a reuse of assets, right? Like
It
could
very
be.
much could be, yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm more led to believe that this is a different bridge to a different place that, you know, we wouldn't have been to yet.
I find it
it's a
interesting.
pretty big moon.
Yeah.
I'm going to hint on some stuff that's coming up later, but I do find it interesting that there is like Ewok made infrastructure this far away from the village.
Mhm.
So, I mean, obviously, if for no other reason than this is the way to get to the tree.
Yeah.
So we got to have a bridge there.
It's kind of like Hobbiton, right? Like the further you go out, the less
there is.
The less there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
After you get past the Brandywine.
No, you're right. You're totally right. What number are we on here? Oh, yeah. So at the rope bridge, the boys cross it in turn. Now, Weechi hands the lantern off to Willie, who is just too scared to go. So he just kind of waits until the very end. And of course, they're telling him to come on. And he's like, I can't do it, until he sees his shadow monster again and has a bit of a panic and then charges across the bridge, dropping the lantern. The lantern rolls backward, nearly falling into the river, but it is caught by young Wicket.
Save the lantern.
Yeah. And then, of course, Wicket is like, hey guys, it's me. I can be... It's funny. Talking about hobbits, Wicket makes a point to say, I can be useful.
Right.
You know, holding lanterns and stuff. Yeah, no, totally.
I'm good for saving lanterns.
Is this an interpretation of you know, the Hobbit in some...
Could be.
In some way, shape, or form, or of at least their portion of the Lord of the Rings?
Maybe.
Going on a little
On
journey.
a quest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with Willie running across the bridge, that's why I think this isn't the same bridge. Because when Nisa stepped on it, like the board cracked
gave
under
right
her
in, yeah.
weight.
Not
And
really.
Willie's a whole lot bigger than
He is much, yeah. He's much more Ewok.
Maybe
especially with some impact, like when he's running.
Maybe he loosened the jar for her, as it were.
Yeah, possibly. Where are we at here now? We're on
Arbor
8. So
Maze.
Wicket thanks Weechi for letting him stay, and then Paplu basically makes a point to tell them, wait until the chief finds out that you broke the rules.
You disobeyed him.
But Tebow, as a true friend, says, don't worry, Wicket, I'll stick up for you, which I thought was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're faced with something that is called the Arbo Maze. And this is where I kind of get back to that, like, wait a minute. Like, did the Ewoks go out of their way to, like, try to conceal the location of the tree? Because that is not a natural structure. That's
No,
like a
that's
thatched,
somebody
built.
put it together.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Or did the Dulocs make it, and that's why Gornish knows his way?
Maybe.
Oh,
Although
maybe.
it didn't help the shaman.
Well, he didn't let the shaman know which way to go. So, but the shaman's pretty confident, like, oh, we'll just get ahead of them in the
I mean,
maze, and then we'll
if
set
the-
our trap.
If the tree's super ancient, maybe this is like the path that was laid by the the original inhabitants, say, of the planet or something, and
That's an interesting.
they've just hacked the path.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's virtually no dangers now, but there's still a few. But
Because they do run into a couple dead ends that are overgrown.
Oh,
with
they do.
thorns
Yeah,
and whatnot
yeah.
inside. So
My adult brain says this is a thatched structure. And if you've ever been to a climate, like, for example, the Caribbean or other hot climate where thatch is sort of a regular occurrence, you know that thatch has to be regularly replaced. So somebody in my adult mind has to be maintaining this.
we do know that the Ewoks have outer posts. Maybe this is
Oh, that's
one
true.
manned
Yes,
by
they
some
do. They do
random
have
Ewok we've not met yet.
little watch posts and stuff. Yeah, they do.
Wilfred Brimley could be at it again.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. The boys enter the maze. Paplu says it's a good thing that they have the lantern to show them the way, but Weechi has to be the macho tough guy and boasts that he can find his way through the maze blindfolded and hands the lantern off to Wicket. Silly man.
You have a GPS in your hand, and you're just going to wing it.
Star
Right.
Wars, low grade powered GPS, and no, we're not going to use it.
Nope.
From the bushes, the shaman and a younger Duloc watched the nephew watch the boys enter the maze. The shaman says they'll pass them inside the maze and then set up a trap. Now, the young Duloc says that they can't go in, but the shaman produces a set of goggles that he says he's been perfecting that will show them the way through.
My special glasses.
Total 1980s.
3D glasses.
Yeah, total 80s 3D glasses with the red and
Wicked.
blue.
Yeah, anaglyph glasses.
Inside the maze, as it turns out, the boys come to this junction that they insinuate that they've been coming to for hours.
Going in circles.
Paplu is getting short with Weechi because of the being lost. They argue back and forth, and Weechi says, "You think you can do any better?" And Paplu kind of takes it on the nose. Well, I think I can. Well, lead on then, leader.
Meanwhile,
Sort of picture them being young, like Wicket and
Tebow.
Yeah.
I think it's
Tebow and Wicket are like, hey guys.
I think it's funny. There's like Wicket is like literally holding the lantern, like
Right.
and they're just ignoring him.
This way.
Guys,
Shut up. You're not even supposed to be here.
both of them ignore Wicket, who tries to tell them to follow the lantern. Paplu, in a bizarre "I know what I'm doing" moment, covers his eyes and begins to recite basically an eeny, meeny, miny, mo kind of rhyme. Bornok, Hanadak, Munyip, Skuts. This must be the way for us.
Nice.
Now, do we have creatures associated with all?
We do.
I know we got the Munyip.
We've got 3 of them. Skuts I could not find, and there's no. The subtitles did not help this week because when I turned them on to get the interpretation of what that is,
It
it
just
says
says
"Speaking
Ewok speech."
Ewok."
Yeah.
Speaking Ewok.
Nice.
Well, we've already identified the Bordock. That's the purple yak-looking thing. The Hanadak was the ape-looking thing. The Munyip was the flying squirrels.
Yeah.
Skuts.
Probably not
I
a
don't
lethal
know.
creature then.
I don't know. Maybe not.
But-
I don't know.
That
I don't
snake
know.
thing that was never identified.
Oh, see, now I kind of wondered maybe that.
Maybe. But that would make it less lethal because the rest of them aren't exactly out to kill them.
Tebow, rather downtrodden, tells Wicket, "Keep the lantern handy." Poor Tebow. Like his hat got droopier as his eyes. Oh. Outside the Arbo maze, Latara and Nisa show up. They too have decided to disobey the chief, and they're going to go it alone.
Yep.
Nisa says to Latara that it's important to prove that girls are just as brave as boys.
And that could circle back to your theory that it was aimed at girls.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like the
Girl power right here.
for sure. Excuse me. Well, the boys, meanwhile, continue to walk in circles, having passed the same rock 3 times. Now, I don't know if this is the same junction we saw them at in the last frame, or if this is a new one,
I believe it is. I believe it's like a central.
like a hub.
Yeah.
Wicket, once again, unsuccessfully tries to get them to follow the lantern, and Paplu insists that they'll just go down a different corridor. We've already done 3 of them, so we'll just do the last one.
Could use that lantern in Outlaws.
Seriously.
I got lost a lot.
Oh, TJC in the house.
TJ
Yeah, buddy.
here. Hello, sir. How are things? Hope everything's going well.
TJ.
We're trapped in a maze with some Ewoks and Duloks.
The Duloks have bad intentions.
They do. As they go down the corridor, the shaman and his nephew show up at the same junction. The shaman
Just missing them.
literally as they're like walking down. I love it how he comes in with his arms out in front of him, like,
Yeah.
I can't really see where I'm going.
Turn the maze 3D.
That's right. Trips over the rock, breaking the glasses, and then kind of blames the nephew for it.
Yep.
Which is kind of like, oh, that's too bad. But he says it's okay because he's got a backup plan, and he produces a net from the sack that the nephew is carrying, a sack that's covered in something called Ganga sap, which is essentially a sticky stuff.
Do we think it comes from Gungans? That'd be gross. Freshly squeezed.
Well, Ganga. It's Ganga, like ganja.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Ganja
It's honey oil.
Nice.
I mean, you can interpret that.
Throw that
however you
net on
want.
me.
That's a different kind of oil right there.
Yep.
Isn't that going to be a problem? Well, not for me, as he, basically hands it over to his nephew to make him carry it.
Isn't it going to get stuck in our fur? Not mine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny. The boys wander off. The Duloks arrive. The Duloks wander off, and the girls show up. By the way, the girls are moving at like breakneck speed.
Oh, yeah.
Latara and Nisa arrive at the junction. Latara thinks she can hear Tebow. Oh, Tebow.
You hear Tebow in your sleep.
She runs off to try to find the boys, inadvertently running into the Dulok shaman along with his nephew. Funny thing, Nisa catches up and is basically able to run circles around this guy.
Yep.
And literally does dart in and out of his legs.
Even though he was pretty spry, he leaped over and jumped in front of her.
That's true. He did do that.
But then he gets quickly outmaneuvered.
And then, you can't blame it all on him because the nephew with the net, and I don't know if he couldn't see through the giant holes in the net.
He'd be too concerned with sticking himself.
I guess.
Just keep running.
Runs headlong into his uncle, and they both get tied up in the net.
I should have hired the Marx brothers.
Just then the boys find themselves back at the junction and are surprised to find Nisa and Latara standing there along with a pair of netted Duloks. The boys ask what they're doing there, and Nisa says it's to prove themselves. And Paplu...
She lies at first. We're here picking berries.
Oh, yeah, picking berries. Paplu says that they've definitely proven that they can catch Duloks. And then says, well, if you want to get out of here, you should follow us.
We know where we're going.
Nisa fires back, well, you're not doing any better at finding a way out. Finally, Wicket speaks up and says, the lantern's been pointing the way the whole time.
And just like the Dulok, they blame him.
Oh, I know.
Why didn't you
say so? And of course, that results in the look that he's presently giving.
Yep.
It's because they had to kill 11 minutes.
That's right. Well, after the maze, the Ewoks come to reach another interesting thing called...
Another horrifying section of Endor.
The Valley of Floating Trees, which might as well be Pandora from Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
It's not expressly said whether this is like floating on water or floating on the air. But when Nisa drops that rock, you kind of hear a couple of bounces like it's hitting the side of something,
Mm-hmm.
like a bleep, bloop, bloop, and then nothing.
And then
Right.
Wicket leans over. He says, "No one's ever seen the bottom."
So I'm going with these are floating on air.
I believe that.
Okay.
Which is Jedi Survivor. There's all kinds of that weird.
The whole Tanalor bit has
Yeah.
has a bunch of that.
Yeah.
We've seen this though before, so I mean this isn't too hard to stomach.
No.
But it's like, given everything we've seen of Endor in live action, it's like, oh, this comes as a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're getting super close to the Tree of Light. So force
Maybe.
energy, if this is another vergence in the
Well,
force.
again, like if we're going back to the meteorite thing, and I'm not going to say that the tree is related to the meteorite, but like different
It could be.
metals could have some weird. This could be a magnetic effect. I don't know. Space wizards and laser swords. That's what it is.
The trees are on like a patch of land, but they're not anchored because they figure out several
Freely
ways to
float,
make
yeah.
them go, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Like there's something there that because they can paddle against it. Like the wind
Well, I mean,
makes sense, right? Like, but they're
is it
they're paddling against something physical.
Is the density of the clouds
Yeah,
or
maybe.
mist thick enough soupy enough to generate? I don't know.
Well, same as when you're skydiving, right? If you like actually try and force your way through, you can.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
We should be telling our 9-year-old selves to not think about it too much.
Real world physics applied.
They do fashion some oars, or rather, they just appear from cut to cut.
Well, maybe they're stored there just for this occasion.
Possibly.
Brought the oars.
Fashion up some oars. Seeing the mountain of light. Weechi remarks that the light is now very dim. At the same time, King Gornish and the Dulocs have followed the Ewoks on floating islands of their own.
I love Willie though. Those trees are following us.
There's a cool thing here. It's almost like, and I don't believe that the Dulocs brought this, but you can see in the one image there's a Duloc beating a war drum fashioned out of a skull of a large deceased creature. Like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe these are sort of, some of them are pre-positioned
Could
to make the crossing,
maybe,
which maybe supports the
repeat thing,
or the oars were there with the islands.
Well, in the first shot there though, like it looks like a lot of bamboo type stuff
Again,
jammed into the ground.
Talking
right?
about man-made stuff. That's
definitely a wall to stop you from running headlong into it.
Yeah.
But it could also be like oars and whatnot stacked up against it too, right?
Oh, possibly. They could have used the bamboo to make the oars, I guess.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. We're gonna chase down the Ewoks, and essentially, it's like a pirate movie all of a sudden.
Hold on, they're gonna ram us,
and they do. They ram the Ewoks island and quickly overwhelm them, tying everybody up. And Gornish takes the light, the dust, the magic dust.
He knows what to take. It's not just some trinket.
No, that's true. So he definitely knows what its purpose is.
Yeah, and he calls it. He's like, "Oh, Ewok tree dust. I'll take that."
I'm surprised that he didn't just smash it and destroy, like
fire it in.
Gone.
Yeah, throw it in the void.
Into the
Over
abyss.
the edge, yeah.
I mean, that just...
It stops the story.
That
but...
foils our... Yeah. See? Thinking like an adult again.
Mm.
Wicket cleverly starts chewing on his bonds and breaks them. Weechi thinks, great, now free us. But instead of doing that, he frees Nisa, and the two of them jump on to the floating island with Gornish and the other Dulocs.
I mean, Wicket chewed his way through. Why couldn't they?
Oh, they presumably they do eventually, because they do free themselves.
Yeah, they do.
It just, I guess it just takes a little bit more time.
Mm.
Oh yeah, so Weechi and the others free themselves, but they're trapped because the Dulocs have broken the oars. Oh no. But Weechi, he looks up at the boughs of the tree, which are blowing quite vigorously, and he comes up with an idea to use their blankets.
Mm-hmm.
Seems pretty reasonable to me. And sure enough, they make themselves a sailing ship.
Yep.
Using the blanket.
Because they had all been carrying blankets.
Well, they had backpacks.
That's
So like
true.
I
Some of them
presumably
did.
they were
That's true.
in
That's true.
the backpack or rolled up on top of it.
Nice
or-
little designs on each one too, right?
Yeah, I like that they didn't repeat them.
No.
Using the blankets as sails, the Ewoks arrive at the Mountain of Light, but the Duloc Islands are already there, and with no way to stop the wind, they run aground.
Did you think we were gonna stop this thing?
Well, not exactly.
No.
After running aground, they collect themselves and start making their way up the mountain.
See, we stopped.
At the top of the mountain, the Dulocs. By the way, there's like an insane number of Dulocs on top of this mountain. Like, whoa! Did they bring like their whole clan, the neighbor clan, and
It may well be because, like, I would assume you would need climbing Dulocs as well to get up there and actually attach the ropes.
yeah.
But it's definitely an army worth of them.
They are trying to pull the tree down with ropes. And what you don't see, you'll see it later on, is there are guys at the base of the tree with shovels that are digging around it as well.
Yeah. Another reference to Lord of the Rings there, right? Like Saruman has them rip all the trees down at Isengard.
Yeah. What I think here, what is really cool here is that without any hesitation and completely fearless, both Nisa and Wicket attack.
Dengar!
Yeah, which I thought was super cool.
Oh yeah.
Nisa and Gornish tussle, and she's able to snatch the dust from around his neck and ends up tossing it to Wicket.
But he goes like full on rage mode.
Oh yeah, like jumping off the cliff onto him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Nisa encourages him to run and save the tree. And then Gornish gets up and starts to chase him.
Gives Nisa a shot for her troubles.
That's true, doesn't it? Yeah.
Tosses her to the side and goes after Wicket.
Finally, Weechi and the others reach the top. And here you get a better idea of how many there are. It's like there's a couple shots where the crowd density is like, what?
Yep.
There's like dozens of them. They think they're too late, and then they see Wicket being chased by Gornish, and then old Paplu, for what, the third time now,
Let the war horn
beats
go.
the war horn. Brr, 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 brr. And then they launch into battle.
And again, it shows how unbright the Dulocs are, because we're only like 7 Dulocs.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
They're like, oh my god, look at all the Ewoks. We're surrounded.
I had to watch that a couple of times because it's like, is that everybody pausing or just that one group? And I came to the conclusion that it's just the one group because Gornish is right there behind them. What are you doing? Rude heads, I think he calls them, and they run right through.
Yeah.
The group stops their charge thinking that they're surrounded. Wicket cowers, which causes Gornish to trip over him, and he ends up falling into the charging Dulocs.
Too much forward momentum.
Wicket runs past the pile of Dulocs, and he smashes the vial at the base of the tree. Gornish has pulled himself out from underneath and tried to catch him, but it's not happening.
Too late.
And almost instantly, the tree is bathed in this golden light, which blinds all the Dulocs, who I guess we can say are light sensitive.
Could be factor into why they stay in the swamp. It's darker.
It is dark, yeah. And I kind of got that impression because they clearly are doing like the, like almost anti-vampire.
And it works again for Gornish because he is the voice of Beaster, and he just pulls the same thing. Oh, light!
Oh yeah, no, he does.
Because that was his big thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
Little Yggdrasil kind of
Kind of, yeah.
action. Yeah.
But it doesn't stop at the tree. Like the entire mountaintop
Yeah,
gets a makeover.
simultaneously the barren ground surrounding the tree erupts in lush green grass and flowers, like pretty instantly. Like we're talking seconds, and it's lush and green.
Mm-hmm. Low Gray's Miracle Grow.
Then, still tangled up in the sap-soaked net and unaware of what's just happened, the shaman and his nephew finally show up, thinking, "Oh, we've got to warn the king that the Ewoks are on their way."
I want to know how they paddled a tree over in that net.
I'm not sure. Yeah, really. Joseph Ricci's here on YouTube tonight. Hello, Joseph. How are you? Hope things are going well.
So, Joe.
Yeah, so the Dulocs all begin to flee And as the Ewoks stand there reveling at the renewal of the tree. Oh yeah, so we're still tangled in the sap-soaked net and unaware of what's transpired. The shaman and his nephew arrive thinking they have to warn the king. Confused that the tree is for some reason getting brighter, the two of them are shocked by the stampede of Dulocs, and they turn to run as fast as they can. And then, without any more sort of, fanfare or anything, we cut right back to the village.
Yep. No journey back. It was
Nope.
safe sailing the whole way.
Yeah, it was uneventful. The oars are broken. The wind is only blowing towards the mountain of lights. I don't know, but we're home now.
Yep.
I still thought it was cool. Back in the Bright Tree Village, Sherpa presents Weechi, Whittle, Paplu, and Tebow with what he calls the silver feather for bravery. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wicket, Latara, and Nisa sit off to the side on a bench waiting to be punished for disobeying the chief's orders. And the chief, he turns to face them, calling their behavior unexcusable. But then in the next sentence acknowledges their own bravery and cleverness and presents them with the silver feather as well.
As he should.
Wicket and Nisa share a little kind of moment as the village cheers for everybody, and the episode ends.
We got the Tree of Life for another cycle.
Yeah, so for how long that is.
Yeah.
Enough to gather another vial of dust.
That's annual. That's something else.
Yeah. But that's it. That's the Tree of Light. What did you guys think now that we're through it?
I kind of liked all the extra Ewok language we got this one. Like they're dropping, Dengars and clanks and everything else.
Yeah, they're getting a little more free with it.
And his little poem there,
His eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
I've got it written here. Where did I put it? Somewhere down here. Where is it here? Here it is.
Yeah.
Bordak, Hanadak, Munyip, Skuts. This must be the way for us. Man, this episode was okay. I liked it.
Fast paced.
Like I said at the beginning, I feel like Gornish got a slight characterization changed with the amount of
aggression.
Yeah, like much less of a trickster this time and much more of a maniacal like villain.
Closer to his core, maybe.
Maybe so, yeah.
No babysitting motifs for a change.
No.
Well, he's the main threat in this episode, so.
Thematically, we've got that whole sense of we've got the teamwork thing again by sending a bunch of them off.
Yep.
But then we've also got that the gender role bit.
Yeah.
Which for 1985, I don't know. Do you think that's sort of on
ahead of the curve?
I was going to say, do you think that is for that time?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, like these. We've always been like this. Star Trek's always been progressive, So when I see the fandom going, there's never been this, there's never been that. It hasn't been perfect, but I totally disagree with the fact that there's never been people of color or never been strong female leads in Star Wars.
Right.
I think that's hooey. So I find that indicative of Star Wars for sure.
Joseph says, I have an Ewoks comic that someone gave me. I recently looked it up, and surprisingly, its current worth is $14.
Awesome.
Is that from the Marvel Star run? Because I think Star did Ewok.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many issues they.
I got a #1 kicking around in that from that storage unit I cleaned out. So it's all beat,
nice.
It's all beat up, but
nice.
Still
was worth looking at though to remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder now, looking at the comic books, are they interpretations of the episodes?
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like the Batman Adventures.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. They may have like outrun the show.
I feel like a lot of the Star comic stuff, because a lot like He-Man, Thundercats, they were all, it seemed to me like they were I think, is it Heathcliff was on there, one of them too? They all kind of had small runs.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't go like 50, 50 plus issues or anything.
Yeah.
But that's it for this one. What's coming up next here? I should have.
Curse of the Jindas.
Oh, right. Curse of the Jindas. So that's
Back
our
to the Jindas.
the traveling Jindas.
Once they visit a village, they never return, except 2
Mhm.
episodes later.
Except
That's
2
right, yeah.
episodes later.
I'm kind of looking forward to this one because we get an explanation for why it is that they keep traveling, why they don't stay anywhere for very long.
Mhm.
Yes, Joseph, that is absolutely 100%
Yeah.
true. They're making some new Ewok comics this year. I think they may already be out.
I know the solicits are out already if they haven't actually hit stands yet. But
It's for their road after Return of the Jedi, where Marvel Comics is finally going to be dipping into some canonization of exactly what happens with respect to the legacy characters post Return of the Jedi. So I'm pretty excited.
We've got to connect all that stuff. You know, we have a shorter time span to work with if we want to connect it to the Mandoverse.
Yeah, I mean, there's benchmarks we have to hit. We have to hit Luke training Ben Solo.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things we have to hit, but there's a lot of wide open stuff there. The Battle of Jakku,
I think
like
that's
to get
that's a
that, like
big one.
the details there would be great.
I mean, who doesn't want to see a Star Destroyer crashing on a planet?
Mm.
I do.
Oh, I do.
and on top of that, with that new Lego one, Rebuild the Universe, we're going to get to see Ewok bounty hunters.
To me, that just is one of the coolest things that I wish I had thought of that, because that's an amazing concept.
Mm.
Are you afraid because you don't know if he's going to bring you in or eat you?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like they have to touch on that.
Yep.
I just think you've got too much of a good thing to not.
We're going to get Darth Jar Jar too, so.
Yeah, he's part of that thing too, isn't he? Isn't he?
A lot of concepts coming out of that.
Last week we talked about what to do next if you guys were interested in seeing us continue with Ewoks, because our plan was to switch over to Agatha All Along when it drops. That being said, I think the three of us all kind of talked about it's kind of a right now whether we do that or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not emotionally invested in Agatha. I don't
Mm.
have to be on the leading edge of it. If we wanted to stay and do the rest of the Ewoks, we could do
Like,
that.
if we're 39 years late to Ewoks, a couple weeks late to Agatha is not the end of the world, right?
That's so true. That is so true.
Yep.
And if we did that, I feel like we just go to the end of the first season at least,
Right.
and then
right.
we can reassess from there whether we're gonna. I mean, we will do season 2 at some point. I mean, I can't see us doing season 1 and not doing season 2.
Yeah, well, we got to get to that one episode with the Empire.
Ah,
Connective tissue.
yeah, second last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think that's good. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let me pop that out of there. Switch us back to
3K.
there we go. There we go. I don't want to get too heavy on this one, but I thought it's worth mentioning to those of you who have been watching all along. I'll talk about this more in depth on Tuesday. Our host platform that we use that runs our streaming software have just announced some major changes to their subscription model that are potentially going to affect how we do our show. So I just want to put that out there, that we are actively searching for alternatives to our host, which at this time is StreamYard, which has been very good to us.
Yeah, man.
However, there's a lot of changes coming, and certainly from the StreamYard community side of things, there are a lot of people who aren't happy right now, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to stay with them if at all possible, but that being said, I'm not above looking for something else.
It's a great time to jump on the Patreon and support us if you like, though, too, because inflation.
Yeah, like just to give you guys a bit of a pull the veil back a little bit. We pay for a professional StreamYard account, but that account is now being changed. And the pro level is no longer pro. It's now the middle tier of their new streaming model, and it's jumping by $40 US a month. And as a small time streamer who is not monetized, that makes it really difficult for us to absorb that. So like Hank said, if you really are interested in what we do and you want to support the channel, now is a great time to jump on our Patreon. You can support us on YouTube by liking and subscribing to the channel. At some point, we may be able to offer memberships, and that'll be another way that will offset things for us. But right now, we foot in the bill for everything. So, and I don't begrudge that. I don't begrudge that. When we started
no,
the
not
show,
at all. No.
when we started the show, it was always with the idea that we'd be talking about this stuff
regardless
if it was just the three of us. But
Yeah.
putting a camera in front of it and being able to share that experience with all of you just makes it that much better.
Community is awesome.
Joseph has a good question. I'm going to put that up here. He says, are you guys looking forward to the Mando and Grogu movie? There were some
Yes.
announcements recently.
Yes.
That is the short answer. Yes, I am
Yes.
very much looking forward to that.
That
know me.
sizzle reel
Oh,
that came out of
D23.
D23 had some mouth-watering little bits. That speeder chase with the ATST.
Loved it. It was
Snow Troopers.
It was that little ATPT. The
ATPT. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and
Uh,
Zeb.
The Snow Troopers. Zeb, so much.
Teach says my PC died this week and I can't afford to replace it yet, so I feel your pain with shouldering costs. Absolutely. You know, it's you don't want to disappoint your audience, but at the same time, you know, how do you make the show work? You know, because like for Andy and I, it's not a big deal. We're in the same room, but Hank is in another province on the east coast of the country. It becomes a lot more difficult. So yeah, it's unfortunate that that's the way it's come to. But again, like maybe it's time to learn OBS. I don't know.
If anybody out there streams or knows anything, we'd love some advice, or if you just want to chat about the way things are done behind the scenes, we'd be happy to entertain that too.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always said that we'd love to sort of pull the veil back and let you guys in on sort of how things go around here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wearing pants.
I have taken a cursory look at Restream and Streamlabs, both of which are cheaper than StreamYard and offer a similar product. And the multi-streaming thing, the more that we do this, the less I think the less important that's become.
Especially with Elon.
Absolutely,
Basically cutting out extra locations.
Changing X to you must pay a paid account to stream to their platform. And now even Facebook, first they took away Facebook groups. You can still stream to Facebook groups with a custom RTMP, but that's a little more techy than I'm used to. And then of course now with you must have at least 100 followers on your page. They've essentially nerfed our audience in the way that you guys can access us. So that's where we're at.
What's that last? Joseph got some info.
Joseph says they made some character announcements this past week. One major name.
Oh, let us know. What is it? Drum roll.
Yeah. Spoiler it for me. I want it. Give me the spoiler.
It's early.
Yeah, we can talk about that stuff. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he did confirm.
Sorry?
That one there.
I thought my Ewoks comic was distributed by Marvel, but as you said, Star Comics. Yeah, so Star was on
like a subsidiary of Marvel.
Yeah, they were.
It's an internal brand. Like they had another one at the same
DC
time.
Vertigo.
Yeah, like DC Vertigo. Marvel had another one too, like
issue number 4.
It was before the Dark line that they had, but they had another one. Remember Star Brand was their
I do,
big hero. What was that called?
Wasn't it Star Brand?
It might have been Star Brand. It might have been Star Brand.
Yeah. It was like a cosmic themed guy.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Did you hear about the new changes to Rotten Tomatoes? I did not hear about that. I'm still waiting for a spoiler on the character name.
Yeah, which character?
Come on, Joseph. Don't leave us
hanging.
Come
on, Joseph.
Don't change the subject. We're talking Star Wars.
Is it me? Because I'll have to free up my schedule.
Do you need a valet? Because I can totally.
Yeah, somebody's got to do my nails. There's a whole bunch of trickle down jobs. If one of us gets famous, it's going to happen.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. They did not announce. I know who you're talking about. Actor, yes. Character, no. They didn't say anything.
Was those?
Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, I have heard
Weaver,
that.
Yeah.
Will be making her debut in Mando and Grogu.
Confirm that she will be appearing. She said she can't say much about it.
Tell us.
Can't say much about it.
Nope.
I think she said something cheeky like she's enjoying bouncing around all these universes. Of course, now that she's been in Alien, Avatar, now Star Wars.
Right.
And technically, by linking Predator,
Oh yeah,
because Alien and Predator are linked, right?
that is
So-
true. That is true. Are you looking,
Ghostbusters.
Are you looking up the Marvel guy?
I'm trying to.
Oh, you are. I'm sure. I know who you're talking about, Hank, because it was
No,
right
his
around the
name
time-
his name is Starbrand. I was wondering what the
imprint was.
imprint was within Marvel. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Was it the new universe stuff with like kickers?
New
and-
universe. It might have been just straight new universe. There was a bunch of. Yeah, I think you're
I never
right.
thought about that. Oh, maybe.
That was in the 80s for sure.
Yeah.
I got my fingers crossed for you, Tej. I hope so too. Get something worked out properly in the next couple of weeks. Now that you're back working again, that's great. Great, glad to hear that.
Nice.
Yeah. New universe was 86 to 89.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same time that they didn't Darkhawk come out of that too?
That was
No.
Image.
Right around that. Oh,
Darkhawk was an Image comic.
who's the Marvel?
Valentino.
No, the Marvel.
No,
the space-
Darkhawk is Marvel.
That's what
Oh,
I
I'm
thought.
thinking of Shadowhawk.
Yes.
You're right.
Shadowhawk was
Darkhawk.
yeah.
You're
Darkhawk
right.
was the bluish one with the metal wings and the
Yeah.
Wolverine claws.
Yes.
I thought he came out of that at the same time
I'm pretty sure he's a
or a
90s guy.
similar time. Yeah, 90s. Oh yeah, so that Starbrand to be earlier than that. Okay.
Was he not one of the new Warriors too? Darkhawk.
I think he joined
Now
up
wait
at
a second.
one point,
Wait a second.
but-
I need confirmation on this. New character. This is not a new character. Well, it'll be the first time we've seen them, other than the 3D. Tar Vizsla. That's got to
Another
be an
of the
ancestor.
clan
It's got to
Vizsla.
be. It has to be an ancestor. It can't be the original Tar Vizsla.
It could be a flashback, I suppose,
Could be.
That. Yeah, I do like that.
or a
Mandalorian
hologram. They just find a
history.
recording.
I think of the Rebels thing where we got the little 3-dimensional, the moving sort of pictogram of him.
We went so hard in that review series on who season 3 of who was going to be the Mandalorian. We were like, Grogu's going to ride the
Yeah.
mythosaur,
It's
and-
gonna ride the mythosaur.
but there's still the potential for all of that to still happen. Like the dark.
That's
You know, I
true.
wanted that Game of Thrones wielding the dark saber, riding the mythosaur, but I mean, there's nothing you could rebuild it.
You know me, man. I'm still holding a candle for our for Cal Kestis to wander through.
Mm.
And now with Star Wars Outlaws, I don't want
She's the actress has made some saying that she'd love to see the character in live action.
I don't want to spoil a whole lot here, but like for anybody who's played Star Wars Outlaws since it dropped yesterday or on the 27th, if you had early access, in the prologue, there's a Tar Vizsla Easter egg.
Yeah, there is. A lot of those artifacts repeat over and over. I found, especially throughout Canto Bight. It's
All the common stuff.
if you guys got an extra $150. It's not a cheap game, but it is a great Han Solo simulator.
Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun. I am so immersed in it feels like Star Wars to me.
It's
So
where I'm going when we part ways.
Teach says, I think that Lucasfilm should endeavor to bring the expanded universe to life in live action. There are hundreds of stories that they could tap into. They just need to respect the lore while doing so. You know, there's been so much of that that's already been brought forward. You'd have to do a whole to canonize all of the legends. You'd basically have to carte blanche. You'd have to wipe it clean again.
Yeah.
And start over.
Because like that's where they're at with Marvel, right? Like they've picked and choosed which bits they're going to bring forward from these stories.
Yeah, Tar Vizsla first appeared in a flashback episode. So Tar Vizsla did not appear as a person.
No,
He
it was
appeared as a pictogram,
yes,
as a moving pictogram.
yeah. It was like they're telling a history.
Yeah,
book,
yeah. It was
sort
this
of an
like a cave drawing. or
Right,
something.
right.
Which
Yeah.
I enjoyed the hell out of that.
What I thought really was cool, if we want to go down that line, is that they included a Vizsla, and simultaneously killed him off in the season 3.
But then
The Favreau character,
he's got a son.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Ragnar's got a
right. And so just like
a feature?
Django, if the name is enough, if the name can be passed down, and that's just enough. If it's not blood,
for sure. I mean, Tar Vizsla. If we get to see more of the the actual Tar Vizsla, because you know what, we were so fixated on the dark saber and how much weight it, and I don't mean weight as it was heavy to
It
carry.
is. I have the prop. It's heavy.
But like, yeah, I mean,
It's not
the,
a light saber.
I mean, the weight
But,
of the symbolic weight of the artifact.
Mm.
I feel like there was a bit of a letdown when it's like it doesn't mean anything anymore.
I did too. I
What?
just have it crushed. So that's why I wouldn't have a problem with rebuilding it and sort of reinstating it. But at the same time, it was a nice misdirect because, you know, are you copying and pasted wiki?
It appears that way. Definitely. This. Yep. Yes, we know all this. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we know all of this.
We have a Star Wars podcast.
Maybe we should. I've always said, we're not a Star Wars show, and then I just kind of like, okay, we're mostly Star
Or
Wars.
at least a half Star Wars show.
We're mostly Star Wars.
Mostly Star Wars.
If you look at our back catalog, I mean,
it's all great info, though. You're not wrong about it.
No, absolutely not. This
100%.
is all factually correct stuff. Do I want to see that play out? I don't know.
I'd check it out.
Like, yeah, I would like to see some of it.
Somebody better ride that mythosaur.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
don't tease that one to us and then just drop it.
I mean, and I would be, if you were to sort of branch off from the idea of like we're doing a James Mangold proto Jedi,
sure,
then we could definitely do a proto. We could dip into the origin stories of a few Legends characters. Like that would be pretty. Well, I guess he's a canon character, not a Legends character. Actually.
He's a canon character. Yep, for sure. I'm more interested to know, talking about misdirects and stuff. I want to know if Tamura Morrison is shooting straight. Is he shooting straight with us when he says, nope, haven't got a call?
Well, but he was, Star Wars Meg put out a video. Hey, Meg, watch our show. She put out a video. She was talking about how it was misquoted, him saying he absolutely hadn't gotten a call. And there's no video footage. It was audio, and there's no video footage of it, and nobody can seem to find it. But he did skip a few events because he was, there was this. I have to go to Lucasfilm and have a talk with them.
Interesting.
So I think it's more like he has always been the most crafty guy when playing this game.
Is he pulling an Andrew Garfield? Is that what he's doing?
Well, he always did though. Remember the hot tub?
Yeah.
He's always had a lot of fun with am I or aren't I? And so
Pardon
he
my
deserves
language.
it.
I'm just gonna fuck with you.
he was so mum about Obi-Wan, and then boom, we got smacked in the face in Obi-Wan. And such an impact that he was only there for a few seconds, but
like,
whether that was Apo or not, we're not sure. But
long-haired Apo.
Just like, so there's that particular, he's so pervasive, and he's at that age now that I can't see exploring post Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, it would be
that there wouldn't be clones everywhere still.
In
these late stages, like
if we've got them as far as the Bad Batch, we have lots of room to do clone stories within the original.
I'll throw a conniption fit if I don't get a live action Rex at least once in something Dave Filoni driven. I will lose my shit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All the pieces are there waiting to be done.
We got another question from Joseph. What do you guys think of Skeleton Crew? Are you guys aware of who Jude's character actually is?
I am not aware
The
of who
King,
he
King of
actually is.
England.
I've stayed away.
Some sort of Force user.
I've stayed away from reading a lot of stuff, but the teaser would suggest that he's a Force user. The kids say, "Oh, you're a Jedi," but then I question that, because when the trailer makes it look like he levitates a key,
right? But we've seen that. We've seen that in Obi-Wan.
Jerky.
We've seen short shysters.
That's what I mean. Like,
right?
Yeah. So to answer the first part of your question, what do I think of Skeleton Crew?
I'm excited for it.
I am as well. I love the Goonies. I love that film. So when they build this as the Goonies in space, I'm like, oh, this one's for me.
And that's basically what the trailer delivered.
Yeah,
it had a real, like,
that vibe.
a lot of people were twisted about the shots of the everyday life in the streets of what looked like Star Wars
Was it?
California.
Yeah, that's
But
like
it was so
comic.
1985
Oh, I loved
ET,
it. I
like, you
loved
know what I
it.
mean?
Camera
Amazing.
going up the street, kid on a
Like
bicycle.
Like, this is
exactly.
like,
Exactly.
I mean, we've always said there has to be like, day-to-day stuff going on planets that
Yeah.
it's deemed too boring
It's honestly
to
the
go
best.
for space wizards and lasers. But
Yeah, it's the
I
best
feel
thing
like
about Stranger Things for sure.
on some level that skeleton crew, at least in the world building, will sort of serve as the flip side to Andor, where Andor gives us the gritty
the dark
Right,
side.
right,
political.
right.
Skeleton crew. Here's
Nice and
the
light.
everyday. Yeah, the everyday,
Here's
right?
the dudes following the rules, going through about their daily business,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
adhering
yeah.
to the Empire's wish list.
What do you mean you're not going to spoil it then? Oh man, I don't take anything as rote until it actually happens. So
Yeah, everything's grain of salt till it
there's no spoilers
airs.
here. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, you could tell us.
You can say whatever you want. Doesn't mean I'll put it on the screen, but
Right.
because if it is really spoilery, we can always we can keep those to ourselves.
He's Luke Skywalker.
But you're not going to say anything that's going to upset me. That's for sure.
No, that's for sure.
And I think you guys are all sort of
Jude Bylaw.
He's going to show up as Jan Rog. What?
Macbeth. It's Macbeth 2.
That's right. Wow, we've totally passed Ewoks.
Right off the rails. Ewoks, excellent.
It is good. I mean, like I said last week and the week before, I'm really enjoying doing this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun actually.
This week I kind of got sidetracked with the whole like getting, smacked in the face with like, oh, by the way, your subscription's going to change. So that kind of,
Yeah, it's a kick in the tail for sure.
that really caught me off guard. And of course, all the graphic design work that I do from a cloud-based service. And on the same day, on the exact same day, they announced that they're increasing their prices too. But they did it a little bit differently. They are extending Canva, by the way. If you're a user of Canva's going up. We're getting a loyalty discount. We're getting a 30% loyalty discount for 12 months. So in 2025, I'll be paying the adjusted rate of it's basically going to like 200 and I guess 275, and then in 2026 we'll be paying the full rate, and that's $399 a year,
unless they bump it before then.
Yeah. So
I just like I could see this trend like our streaming services are starting to go to these premium tiers, and like Prime's already done it. There's already commercials all through my Prime stuff, and I refuse to pay more
to remove them
than I already do.
Yeah, wasn't it? That was the deal. Get him streaming was to get rid of commercials, and now they're back.
I know a buddy of mine has one of the Fire Sticks, and he has zero complaints.
Yeah, we have a Fire Stick as well. It's not side loaded or anything. It's just straight up.
Yeah,
that's the way it is. But that doesn't bother me so much. I mean, I grew up in the age of commercials, so it's kind of interesting to see how advertising looks like in 2024. Man, I go to the movie theater and I get commercials at my movies.
One of my biggest pet peeves is watching a promo for a film that I'm about to see. I will close my eyes, stick my fingers in my ear, and go la 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 very loud. That drives me bonkers.
I'm going to the movies to watch Spider-Man. I'm in the theater and there's an ad for Spider-Man.
Right.
What?
Spoilers.
When are they going to get off their ass though and make that full-length popcorn movie?
Yeah, right.
Those little popcorn soldiers have been like marching through jungles for years.
Do they know
now.
We're going to eat them?
We should quantify.
It's a horror film, right?
Cineplex in Canada.
Yes.
I don't know if
it's mixed in with Scotiabank.
Yeah, so it's like
promos.
The funny thing is like the little popcorn characters, one of them is clearly Orville Redenbacher. And that to me, I'm like, I want to take a survey. How many people even know who Orville Redenbacher is anymore?
Me, because of my stupid middle name. Check out Teach comment though. That's interesting.
Oh, I could help you with an alternative that costs you nothing rather than a subscription deal.
Oh, hit us up in the DMs, man.
Are we talking OBS? Because it's not off the table for me. It really isn't. I just need to know. Again, like I said before, the learning curve intimidates the crap out of me. So, but I am so willing to hear that out. Let's definitely connect on that though, for sure.
Yeah, man. Hit us in the DMs, bro.
Yeah, man. All right. I guess that's we've totally gone off topic. And
Well, let's circle back here.
oh, sorry. Yeah, go
Amazon.
Buy our t-shirts.
Yeah, we got some of those. They're still on sale.
That's true. Yes, we do have a merch store. The link in the description of this video. You can. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, I'm happy with that. That's great. OBS for streaming, yes, but a graphics software as well. Perfect. As an alternative to Canva, I'm totally down for that. Totally down for that.
If you head over to Amazon.ca right now, though, you can get the Pablo retro card figure for $20.
Oh,
Pablo.
Yeah.
The like the 5 POA one.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I like that.
The Black Series retro card.
All right. Is there anything that you guys want to touch on before we wrap it up for the night?
No, that was it.
yeah. We've gone off the rails, so rein us in, man. Rein us in.
Come back on Tuesday night, guys. Andy and I'll be here. I don't know, Hank, if you want to show up on Tuesday and we can have another discussion about a bigger discussion with our other audience about greedy corporations.
yeah. I have a pretty chill week actually. A couple of doctor days, so
Nice.
holiday Monday. Yeah, man.
And
I'll see what I can do.
We'll squeeze in some pop culture talk while we're at it because
Nice.
there's
Couple things.
more entertainment news to talk about.
Yep.
Well, certainly with the PlayStation rollout of
We can't not talk about
right.
Yeah.
And so it's in the same wheelhouse with these corporations just grabbing our money and running with it the other direction. So yeah, I'd like to talk about that Tuesday.
See, I like this answer. The internet is suggesting that he might be Lor Santeca, but from what I have heard,
Thrawn
that
in
disguise.
actually.
I don't buy the Thrawn thing, but Lor Santeca, that's interesting.
Lord
I like
Santek,
that.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I do like that idea.
So he has a backstory if you look that up, Joe. He's a very, very, very wealthy individual and sort of started a Force cult, which is like one of the more compelling things, and they don't get into it very good in friggin' Force Awakens, but that village at the beginning that Kylo Ren raids is a like a commune of Force worshippers, like, they're like Christians or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that the thought of that was always cool. So when I saw that idea, the Guardians of the Wills idea, these like, light Force using traditions that kind of worship the Jedi or worship the Force, very cool idea. So yeah, I'd be down with him being Lor Santeca for sure.
I think that would be an interesting take on that because I mean, oh my God, what's his name? He's passed now. The actor that played him.
Oh, Max von Sydow.
Yeah, Max von Sydow. Going to be hard to live up to that.
Big boots.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Joseph. Really appreciate you dropping in tonight.
Yeah, man. All the time, buddy.
And sharing all of this good information with us. We love that stuff. And again, thanks to Sean for tuning in week after week. We do appreciate you. Tej, really appreciate all of your insights. I really looking forward to connecting with you so we can discuss sort of the way forward. That is super awesome. And to everybody else, Sarah, Kay, and everybody else who's out there watching or has been watching, thank you so much. Stay tuned. There will be more. It might look a little bit different in a month or two, but we'll still be here in some way, shape, or form.
This is the
I'll be
way.
here with a candle or
Right.
a low gray lantern and some dust, and it'll just be I don't know. Either way, anyway, all the ways, no way, whatever your thing is, guys. Remember, fan on. And for Fandom Power, my name is Wes.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Hank.
And we'll see you in the next one, guys. And bye for now.
Manamachu. Goopa loopa. Gunda. Yep, yep. Manatutu. Goba Fringowa. Goopa loopa. Oto Osto.